Hi everyone, welcome. Can you hear us well? Everyone, you do have a chat at the bottom right? Okay, amazing. So we're very excited and happy to have you with us. We're going to spend the next hour together with John from Maple. And maybe we'll introduce ourselves very quickly to beginning. And the main goal of this webinar is that it's useful for you. So please, there is no dumb questions, do not hesitate. We'll be more than happy if you ask all the questions you'll have. So John, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, Louisa. My name is John. I'm the head of sales here at Maple Voice AI. I've been in restaurant tech for about 10 years and about 10 more years before that of being in restaurants. So excited to be here and get into it.
Amazing. Thank you, Jen. And so my name is Louisa. I am the co-founder and CEO of Malou. And what we do is that we help restaurants improve their online discoverability, and we help them convert their visibility into traffic. And Maple had this traffic actually turning into real dollars. So what we're going to see together today. So on the menu, we're going to see, I'll try to explain you how the restaurant discovery has changed over time and how today we're seeing that most restaurants are losing revenues across the funnel. And we'll explain you how the modern restaurant is working now, and John will explain you how to optimize each stage of the funnel and how to capture and convert into real dollars every interaction. So again, there's no dumb questions. Ask anything you'd like to ask, and we'll be more than happy to help you. So maybe a first question for you before we start. How do you think today your guests are finding you to actually come to the restaurant? How do you think you found and chosen by your guests? And you can respond on the chat. So I'm saying that John is typing. I'll give you a few seconds. Social media, okay, me. What else is driving your traffic? Google, good points. Maps, correct. Those are all good points. Yelp, also Yelp, yes. And Google for sure, correct. So what's happening is that visibility has never been higher today because, as you mentioned, people are seeing you on social media, they're seeing you on Google, they're seeing you on Yelp. So if you look at how many impressions you're getting every month, it's probably hundreds of thousands of impressions. But are you getting hundreds of thousands of guests? Probably, I hope you do. It's probably not the case. And it's because visibility has never been higher. There are so many platforms where guests are discovering you. And what's harder now is conversion because everyone's investing on online visibility. Everyone's searching more on platforms, and decision making is faster than ever for guests. And competition is higher. So that's actually why we built this webinar today with Maple to explain you how to turn those views into real business. And if we look at the funnel today, the funnel is much more complex today than it was years ago. Like 30 years ago, people were maybe walking and then pushing the door to restaurants and then coming in, or they might find you on paper guides and then they just see you and then they decide to come to your place. Now it's much more complex, and the funnel has now 4 stages. First one is what we call discovery. And discovery includes Google, social media, but also AI platforms such as Claude, ChatGPT. People are also searching now on those AI platforms to get very specific recommendations. So discovery is now very fragmented. And after discovery, it's consideration. Consideration is the signals that you will send to your potential guests that will help you convert them. So the signals can be the photos, the menu, the reviews, those kind of things. And then after consideration comes the intent. The intent, so the people that will consider you, they will whether try to book online, try to put an order online, call you or directly try to get the itinerary to come to the location. And then it's conversion. How do we actually capture this intent to make it a real business? And this funnel that became much more complex is key for you to understand and to adapt. And so switch. And so the main problem today is not really demand, it's about how to capture this demand. 43 million restaurant searches on Google every day. And so the first step is how do you get customers to actually find you? And then how do you get customers to actually consider you? And how do you convert them? And so what we will try to teach you and to explain today is how to make sure you're not laying those gaps into the funnels and how you make sure that your funnel is perfectly or is very well built to make sure you're never losing revenue from online opportunities. Do you have any questions so far? I think we're good. So, first part, I will explain you the new rules of discovery. Is everyone familiar with the notion of discovery?
Looks like we got someone typing here.
Yeah, David and Philip. Um, what's that? So, discovery. So there is a new concept since so it's been a few years, and we're now speaking about discoverability. So at the restaurant, you have two ways of getting more guests. Number one way is your authority, the people that know you. So they will type your name online on Google, on Instagram, on Facebook, on whatever. They will type your name because they know they want to come to your place. Those you got thanks to your branding, your authority. And there is another big chunk of potential guests that you might get, and those one are the one that will express their needs online. They will search, they will try to discover a restaurant that fulfill their needs. They might search for a restaurant in this neighborhood, for a burger in this neighborhood. They might search for a special restaurant for a birthday that has at least 25, that do private events with at least 25 guests, and they will specify their demand. And so the idea is to first understand what's driving your business. At McDonald's, for example, people going to McDonald's, they haven't searched for a burger online. They have searched for the closest McDonald's to them. So we won't be focusing today on notoriety. We'll be focusing on discovery. How do you get to be visible online to the people that are searching for a restaurant like yours? So the way the US Discover restaurant has changed over time. When I started Malou 8 years ago, the main focus was Google plus Yelp in the US, TripAdvisor in Europe. And now it's becoming more complex. So Google is still big, TripAdvisor and Yelp are okay, Apple Plan is becoming big, AI recommendations is becoming big. So everything is becoming more complex. And what's also changing is that the AI era has made it a shift from suggestion to recommendations. When you're searching for a restaurant on ChatGPT, you don't get 20 pages with 20 suggestions. You get two, three, or four, five max suggestions. So now it's the results the guests are seeing online is much more recommended, and so the result is also short. That they're getting less suggestions. And so we're moving from one platform to multi-surface. And to get a chance to be ranked and to exist on those specific platforms, it's about first structured data. Is everyone familiar with the what is structured data? You can tell me yes or no. Structured data.
I'm definitely not.
Okay. So let me
I don't know.
explain you. So for you need to have your website, your listings well structured to have AI robots being able to read them. And so one of the main big shifts that we're seeing today is that your website that used to be a destination with SEO is now becoming a source because the AI are taking information from your website. So you need to have your website very well structured so that the AI can read them and recommend your restaurant as a result. In addition to that, you do need to have complete and consistent listings across all platforms. First platform is Google. We know today that only 35% of restaurants do have a 100 business Google profile completion. Do you have any idea on what's your completion on your Google Google business profile? Like maybe I'll ask the question differently. Who is confident they have a 100% Google business profile completion on their Google page? Anyone? No. So if it's not the case, I would recommend you to spend time and to fill all the attributes you can fill in Google. So if you have an outdoor setting, just say it. I do have or I don't. You have about, I think, 80 something attributes that you can fill into Google, and you just have to fill them. Whether you have, you say yes, or whether you don't have, you say no. But just fill them because it's so powerful to fill them to get a chance to be ranking well. I'm seeing a question from David. How does AI search differ from a standard algorithm search? The output is worded as recommendation rather than fact is a change in syntax. So not only, so GEO is not that different from SEO. This is the first thing you need to understand. But there are some differences. So one of the things is that the website is no longer a destination. The website is used as a source by the AI platforms. So you need to have a structured website. What does structure mean? It means you need to have categories. It's not only about text now, it's about categories. You need to have well-structured categories on your website, and you need to have to show up on your website consistent information. So if your hours are not exactly the same from your Google business profile, your website, your Yelp page, and your TripAdvisor page, you do have an issue. You need to make sure you're consistent everywhere. And the second is there is a keyword strategy that needs to be worked and identified. So what is everyone familiar with what is keyword? What are keywords? So keywords are the words that might be used by potential customers to search for a place like yours. So if you believe you are a great result for anyone searching for a restaurant with great cocktails in this neighborhood, well, you need the cocktails and the neighborhood and the restaurants are keywords that you should be using in your content. And when I say content, I mean your Google post, your text on the website, the description of your photo. When you share photos on Google Posts, you need to have the right meta description. When you share photos on Instagram, you need to add the meta description using those keywords. And what's also very important when you who is managing different locations from the same brand, like who is a single, if you can tell in the chat, who runs one single location and who runs a group with different locations from the same brand. Several locations. So when you multi-unit, okay. So the multi-unit restaurant, you have something else that you need to be working on is the consistency across the locations. So you need to have the exact same wording, the exact same colors, the exact same attributes. You need to make sure, in addition to what you need to do to have a good GEO, you also need to make sure your brand is consistent. And why you need to make sure that all of those things are well done is because they're directly linked to revenue. So we found out that between 60 and 70% of the conversion click, they're actually going to the top 3 local results. So if you're showing up, I'm speaking now about Google Maps, if you're showing up on position 9, you're probably losing tons of business. So make sure you identify the right keywords that do drive business, and I'll show you how to identify them, that can drive your business to make sure you're capturing the demand. The second thing is directly linked to the revenue. So 88% of local searches lead to action within the 24 hours. When you're searching for a restaurant, usually you're searching for a restaurant in 3 months. It can be for today, it can be for the week, but it's very short. And so in that kind of in the local business, in the restaurant local businesses, people do not spend much time hesitating and comparing. When they do find a great option that fulfill their needs, they do book a table, they do place an order. So especially in the restaurant industry, it's more important. And when the hard thing is when you don't have correct information. So I know that I think today or tomorrow is a holiday, for example, in Washington DC. So the hours are showing up in orange in Google. So every time there is a holiday in your state or in your city, your hours are showing up in orange. So if you're opening the restaurant, you should update the hours on Google. If you're closing the restaurant, you should update it. If you're changing the hours, you should update it, because the worst case scenario for you is that someone will find you online, will see that you're open, will come to the restaurant and find you closed. So and customers, they don't forgive now. Today they don't forgive anymore because they have tons of options. So you have a potential, you have a play to actually capture the demand, to convert the clients, but also to make sure that when you're converting online, you're not disappointing any customer. Um, MD, your question needs a few minutes to be responded. So I'll take that at the end of the webinar, and we'll do a sum up with maybe the X things you should be doing to make sure you're getting a chance to improving. And what we'll think, what the top Western groups we've been working with for the past few years are doing is that they build a strategy before they execute anything. So the strategy, when we speak about discoverability, the strategy starts with the keywords and the intent strategy. What are you offering to your customers? Who are the customers you're trying to get at your restaurant? And the second step is to structure the listings before you publish anything. When I say structure the listing, I'm speaking about updating the attributes, making sure your hours are correct, everything, making sure the menu is correct across all platforms, and then making sure when you're operating a multi-location group that you have consistency across locations. And this is something that you need to do once to clean the potential inconsistency, but that you need to keep up to date because things are changing, there are new menus, there are new holidays. So there are so many activities that need to be updated. That it's not a one-shot job. And so what we do and how do we help those restaurant groups working with us? First, we do centralize everything on one platform. So at Malou, we connected at more than 50 platforms. And from Malou, the restaurant operators, they can update their information across 50 platforms in one click. And when I say operations, I'm thinking about our information, I'm thinking about hours, about menu, about photos, about anything that helps capture the online demand. The second thing, and now I'm responding to you, MD, is make sure that you are structuring your data for search and AI. It means that you need to have what we call AI ready local pages, and it's a mix of first you need to have a good page speed. So I'll send you. So if you have local pages on your website, I will recommend you to try your page speed to try to understand whether you have a good score or not. This is a public free website from Google. And the second thing I would recommend you is to check your schema.org. And schema.org is also a free website that helps you understand. Can I share my screen? Let me check if I can share my screen. I can share my screen. Let me show you. And this helps you see whether your pages are well structured. And you see in this location, I have built my page to be AI readable. So I'm speaking about the name of the restaurant. This is the font, this is the menu, this is the price range, this is the payment accepted. So I'm structuring the data so that the AI robots can understand extremely quickly what I'm speaking about. Let's get back to the slide. And when you're operating a group, you do have ways to also duplicate smartly the content. It means that when you're sharing is everyone from who here does Google Posts? The Google Post on your Google Business profile. I'll be curious to know who is sharing Google updates on your, say, on a weekly basis. Is everyone familiar with what is a Google post? Amazing, Melissa. 3 times a week. This is great. Is everyone familiar with what are the Google posts? I'll show you what it looks like. So the Google posts, they look like Facebook posts. It's a photo plus a caption plus a call to action. Those Google posts that appear here on the Google Business profile. And those Google posts, they're extremely powerful to improve both your SEO and your GEO because the photo here is renamed with keywords, the text here is filled with keywords, and the call to action is also made to help capture more demand. And those Google posts, they also are a proof that you are sharing fresh content online. And both Google and the AI, they love when you share fresh content because when you're sharing fresh content, it's probably that your content is up to date. You're not sharing a menu that is no longer available for the past 6 months. So that's about, we've seen how to improve your discoverability. After discoverability come the intent. How do you get the consideration? How do you get to win the decision? What's happening is that these customers are now deciding in seconds. They don't spend too much time comparing their options. And when they're searching through AI, they actually don't get any more 20, 40 options. They do get 2, 3, 4, or 5 maximum options. The decision is driven by a few key signals that is provided by AI. And the AI is getting those signals from your local page on your website, from your Google business profile, from your Yelp, your TripAdvisor, from 50-ish platforms. And where most restaurant groups fall short now is when they're not working on what's helping them convert those intent. The first thing is reviews. So it's almost forbidden in 2026 not respond to the customer reviews. So the first advice I will have for you is to make sure you are responding to all your customer reviews, the positive one, but also the negative one, especially the negative one, because when you're responding to a negative review, you're not only responding to the author, but also to the potential guest that will check your Google page and read reviews. And so you get a chance to explain yourself on the negative responses. Plus the outdated photos. So two recommendations for you. First, share those Google posts with your current menu, with the current photos of the locations, not to not disappoint anyone that will search for you. And second thing, menus in PDF. It's something I would recommend you to completely stop. AI, they don't read well PDF, but they read very well structured content. So on your website, on your Google page, the menu should be through items. So it's not a PDF, it's every item on the menu has its own space. And when you're running a multi-location group, when you have inconsistent experiences across locations, you're hurting the brand actually. So if you have one location, that is what we've seen. We've done a study on thousands of locations, and the average gap within the same group is 1.3 in terms of rating. And when you have 1 week locations and you have guests coming to this week locations and having a bad experience, what's happening is that at the end of the day, they're not saying this location is disappointing. They're saying the group is offering a disappointing experience. So make sure that you have a minimum at least 4.2, 4.3 average rating on all your locations. And again, behind these weak content signals, we're always finding missed revenue. 1 star increase in your rating can drive from +5 to +9% in revenue. This is huge. And what's also happening is that now on Google Maps, people can filter to only see on the screen the 4.5 and plus rated restaurants. So, and competition is harder. So when I started the business 8 years ago, we were targeting 4.2. Now we're targeting 4.5 and plus. And the menu, the latest menu has been published 2 years ago. We don't trust anymore the menu. And the menu is the most important factor when choosing a restaurant. So I would recommend you to check what you have on your Google page now to make sure you have fresh and updated menu on your local page, on your Google page, and to update it. And what's actually driving The choice are like the menu. We've seen the menu right now. Rating at least 4.5, and not only 4.5, but also rating. It's the same as when you're ordering something on Amazon. Would you order a product that has only 15 reviews? Probably not. Same thing happened for restaurants. So the more review you're able to gather, the more trust you're getting from your guests. So review is about volume, is about frequency, is about rating, and is about responses. The content is about sharing fresh and updated photos and videos using the keywords to make sure you're working on your discoverability. And last thing is the social signals. So Google and ChatGPT and all of them, they're connected to the social media. So maybe you should first check that your Google listing page is connected to your Instagram and your TikTok page. So you do have to connect them. And when you're sharing fresh content on the social media, it's going to help your Google page, your Google listing page getting on top, plus the AI platforms to recommend you. And what we've seen that winning restaurant groups are doing differently, they respond to all the reviews, they're getting tons of reviews, they keep menus structured and updated, they maintain fresh content across all the locations, and they make sure they're working on keeping the same level of quality on each location. And so that's also what we do at Malou. We have them centralize all the signals, all the locations, all the platforms. They can have standardized quality with AI through the reviews responses that are published through AI, the menu update that are managed through Malou, the Google posts, they can do them from Malou, they can duplicate them with local adaptation. So they're doing everything right with while earning time, because at the end of the day, with the complexity that the federal got, you need to save time if you want to do everything in the right way. And now that you have improved your discoverability, worked on your intent, you have to capture all that demand and to really turn it into revenue.
That's right. Thank you, Louisa. I really appreciate all that. I feel like I learned a ton about discoverability and AEO. I think I know how to run a restaurant and have everyone know about it now. So I really appreciate all that. So I'll kind of jump into it here, but before I start, I kind of wanted to like preface a question or throw something out there. How many people here have online ordering for their restaurant in any fashion? You know, could be marketplaces, could be your own direct. Give you guys a second. Yeah, of course. See a couple thumbs ups there. Yeah, right. It's like a simple thing, right? Everyone has it. But 5, 10 years ago wasn't really a thing, right? And I would say like 30% of restaurants were kind of adopting that. What we're experiencing right now in this AI age that Louisa called earlier, I'm going to steal that from you. We are seeing this boom. How do we adopt AI? How do we do it from the beginning of the customer journey to the end, which is the capturing part, right? So I'll talk a little bit about the capturing part. Now, to tie this into the online ordering, I can't imagine opening a restaurant these days without online ordering. I would say 80 to 90% are doing it. It's going to be a similar story with utilizing AI in your restaurant in some fashion, right? I'll talk about the voice AI aspect of it. So jumping ahead here. So capturing demand, right? We now partnered with Malu and we are discoverable. Like people want to come eat at our restaurant. They are calling because they have questions. They want to know about this amazing dish or this amazing review. So your customers are reaching out. What do, right? You don't want to hire more staff. That's really costly, and you have to train them. You don't want to have to be the one answering the phones all the time. You don't want to pull your staff off of taking care of people in store. So you can utilize an AI service like Maple to answer these things, right? So we're talking about capturing demand across all factors here. So when someone calls in, they're looking to either ask a question, a frequently asked one, place an order, do reservations. And these people aren't necessarily always calling during swing shift when you have some downtime, right? They're calling in the middle of lunch rush, in the middle of dinner rush, and that's where the most maximum pressure is. Some of the things I like to bring up when we talked a lot of the restaurants is how are those calls going, right? Like you don't really have a way to really understand the level of hospitality that is being delivered. Are they upselling? Are they being courteous? Or are they being short because the bell's ringing and they have to run a bunch of food, or they just got triple sat? We've all been there. We've all been in the weeds, right? And it can affect your brand. So imagine this customer is, going out of their way using AI to find a very specific restaurant. They found yours and they're excited to eat this dish. And they call in. You missed that call, they're going to go to a competitor, right? They have a bad experience on the phone because people are in the weeds, they're rushed, they're just going to go. You might lose them entirely. So you have this high intent buyer, and now we've kind of lost all of the potential for engagement there. Go ahead here. So the operational reality at peak hours, right? So as I was saying earlier, these people are calling during these peak hours, during these peak times, when they're hungry, which is the same time when we're all hungry, right? Um, a lot of times we're seeing people miss calls entirely, and there's really no safety net, no fallback system. Calls are ringing during the service. There's no voicemail, or by the time your general manager gets to it to give them a call back after they hear the voicemail, it's past the dinner rush. Kind of lost them at this point, right? Big number that we see here, 32% of calls go unanswered at peak hours. It's typically that window, right? The other thing is slow response times. So 60% of callers hang up after 60 seconds. I know I do. I'm usually driving with two hungry kids in the car who are screaming, and I'm lucky if I can even hear the phone, right? But if it's not picked up in 60 seconds, it's on to the next one. I got to find somewhere I can get these kids fed. And then lost revenue. It's a big one. It's the one that really makes the difference. The way restaurants, what they're facing these days, the margins and the cost of everything, to be able to lose money just because you're not answering a phone quick enough or providing a level of service that is expected is disheartening, right? You don't want to see money fly out the door. And the crazy thing is that you don't even see it. You just assume that's not there, right? Because you're missing these calls. You don't even know. So one of the things that a lot of our team kind of talk about is you don't really know the value of these calls. It could be a reservation, it could be a frequently asked question, it could be a $30 order, it could be a $5,000 catering order, you know? It could be a private event that you missed out on, right? So knowing the value is important. So what you lose when intent isn't captured. So the immediate revenue loss is 70%. So 70% of missed calls result in the customer going to a competitor and never coming back. You've heard me say it a few times now, right? I think it's probably even higher than that. They probably go right down the list and call the next one. And 80% don't call back. Sometimes I do. Maybe I'll call a second time if it's a really special place, but most of the time it's right on to the next. So now we'll get into conversion, right? So capturing every single interaction. So what drives conversion at this stage? Having immediate response is huge. I, I, I think we'll all agree here. No one likes sitting on hold, listening to press one for this, or not even having the phone answered. It's impersonal. It's not a good look. It's not hospitable, which is what you guys all got into the business for, is to be hospitable, right? So having immediate response is huge. It changes the entire interaction. The other thing is availability. Imagine if you had someone on your staff that was extremely well trained on not only your menu, but everything about your restaurant. Do you have parking? Do you have handicap access? Do you have a gluten-free menu? All of these questions, right? That can answer a call at 3 in the morning because someone wants to come in for an early breakfast. They call. It says call now. Go ahead, call now. You can talk to them. That'd be amazing, right? And then frictionless experience. So being able to have a conversation with an AI on the phone and turn any conversation into a customer coming in, booking a reservation, catering, ordering, going straight through without having to go through a phone tree or being transferred or anything like that. I like this quote here at the bottom here. Speed and availability are the two biggest levers at this stage. So how does Maple capture every single interaction? So Maple itself, we are a proprietary built voice AI engine that sits on top of your phone. You call in to the phone number, we're going to answer. You can choose through a multitude of different voices. You can have ambient noise in the background to make it sound like your restaurant's popping. It will record every single phone interaction. And from there, we help you build a custom interaction kind of playbook, as you will. It could be answering frequently asked questions. It could be understanding the menu enough to push for an upsell, take an order, take the customer's information down, send it directly into your POS and into the kitchen, just as if it was a person taking a phone order. We can handle an unlimited amount of calls, so up to like 1,000 at once. Like there's no human in the world that is capable of doing that, right? So you have the demand, now we're capturing it, and we have an unlimited amount of use as well in terms of minutes. So it's booking, taking orders, reservations, answering FAQs, and we can work across all different locations. So multi-units, single owners, all that kind of stuff. Jump into it here. Disregard that little mistake on the second part of that slide right there. So results before and after Maple. What we see when people are utilizing our services is that 43% of the calls, there's an increase of 43% calls answered, right? That's a lot. That's almost a 50% bump. We see people reporting numbers of like saving $10,000 in the first month going live with us because they are now able to capture 24/7 all the time. The safe number we like to say is $60,000 annually in terms of incremental revenue per year. That includes everything, right? The catering, the booking reservations, the ordering, and then it's a 98% call resolution. So it's the average post call rating there. Customers are going to get instant, consistent answers every single time. Also the upsells, right? Going back to the human side of things. I know when I, was answering the phones and taking orders, sometimes I did forget to ask if they wanted a dessert or add on a soda, even the small stuff, right? This will ask every single time, making sure that everyone experiences the same thing and can experience your brand the way you want it to be presented. Take it back over to you, Louisa.
Mm. And so the funnel, if you had to remember a few things from this webinar, the funnel is broken today, became more complex and is broken at every stage. So what our job at Malou is to make sure you get discovered and then you get considered. The next step is you make sure you're capturing the intent and you're converting, thanks to Maple, all those um, opportunities that were generated online into real dollars. And so the framework is simple, 4 steps. You be discoverable. You have structured listing. People find you on Google, they find you on ChatGPT. You're consistent everywhere. But you also have beautiful pictures, an updated menu, good reviews, a good amount of reviews, and you're consistent when you're running a multi-locations. You're consistent across all those locations. And then you're reachable anytime during the weekend, at 2 a.m. It's a good example. Sometimes when I travel from Paris to New York, I get up very early in the morning and I'm searching for a very early breakfast. I don't get to find, it's hard for me to find which location that will actually serve me my breakfast at the 6 a.m. And then, thanks to Maple, you convert those opportunities that were generated online. You're able to turn them into real dollars. And so the main takeaways from this webinar is that the problem is not demand. People are all searching online for restaurants, whether they're searching from discovery or through notoriety. And even when you have an amazing notoriety, people will find the closest McDonald's, for example. But if the closest McDonald's has actually 3.5 out of 5 in terms of rating, will they really take the chance to come to this location? Probably not. And if you're not doing anything now, you're losing revenue in between all stages. To win in the restaurant area, because everyone's now investing on online visibility, on online performance. So competition became much harder now than it was a few years ago. So the winning restaurants are the ones that are optimizing not only discoverability, not only conversion, but every step on the funnel to really build growth and profitability. So I hope this webinar was useful for you. I can see that we do have um, Owen and Kayla asking some questions. So maybe I think
Yeah,
you want to take them. I think it's for
yeah,
you.
sure. Yeah, so I was just going over some integration questions there. I can share the link in a second here once I get a minute. We are based in New York, Philip, New York City. We're in Flatiron. Um, we currently do not integrate with any loyalty platforms. That's definitely something that we are looking to get into. It's definitely important and on the roadmap for sure. Guest segmentation is really, really big. Taylor's asking a lot of good questions here. Not surprising considering she's connected to New York City restaurants. Yeah. Real quick about this QR code here, though. So you can actually scan this QR code for Maple, and it will send you to a demo link website. Essentially, you could type in your restaurant or restaurant group. It'll ask if this is yours. It'll geotag you. You can select it, and it'll do like a menu scrape of whatever's on the web, right? And it can build out a custom voice AI agent. A little bit of a caveat here: it is a demo. It's not going to be, stellar, and I promise you ours will be if and when you become a partner. But it's a good little taste of what we can do for you.
That's great. And if you want to try, it's also a free tool. If you want to try your online visibility to get an idea on how you're ranking today, you can also play with the online audit link. And so you'll see whether if you get more than 80 out of 100, you probably won't need Malou. If you get less than 80 out of 100, might be worth having a call with us. Do we have more questions there? Well, I think Adrien is asking if there are any plans to integrate with Waze. So Malou will integrate with Waze for the review, as you know, Adrien. And for Maple, does it make sense for you to get integration with the reservation platforms, guys?
Yes, great question there. We are in talks with Resi. We are fully integrated with OpenTable currently. And if there's any other reservation platform that you are on that we are not integrated to, we can actually simply just send a text link. So we have the ability to take anything conversationally and then send them over a text link to anything. Could be online ordering platform, it could be to Resi, whatever may work, your catering form. So we have the ability to do that.
Amazing. Are you ready to sign, Adrien? Amazing. Do we have more questions today? If we don't, it's good. So I hope this webinar was useful to you. I hope you'll learn things that you will actually use to improve your restaurant revenue and profitability. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to John. You have his email on the page, or to me, depending on what your question might be. And we love to build a webinar. So if you have any idea or any topic that is interesting for you and you would like to have a dedicated webinar to explain or share advice or share use cases, do not hesitate. We'll be happy to work on that. And yeah, thank you very much, guys, and see you soon. Thanks,
Thank
John.
you so much. Maybe the next one can be in France. I'd love to
You're welcome
write
in
off a trip
Paris.
there. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Adrien. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, all of you. Thanks. Bye bye. Avec plaisir. Bye.